I still remember the night it started. Springfield, Illinois isn't the kind of place you'd expect headlines to come from. It's quiet, predictable, the sort of Midwest town where everyone knows everyone, and the worst crime you usually hear about is a drunk driver on Main Street. That's why when 17-year-old Emily Carter went missing, the whole place seemed to stop breathing. I was sitting in my cramped office above a diner on Jefferson Street when the call came. My editor's voice crackled through the phone. "Jake, a girl's gone missing. High school senior, parents are raising hell. Get down to the Carter's place now." I grabbed my notepad and recorder. As a journalist for the Springfield Chronicle, I wasn't used to much action. This felt different. The Carters lived in a neat 2-story house on Walnut Avenue, lined with maple trees that looked almost eerie under the streetlights. By the time I arrived, the place was swarming with police cars, their red and blue lights painting the quiet houses in a restless glow. Neighbors stood in clusters on the sidewalk, whispering like it was some scene out of a movie. Inside, I found Detective Laura McKenna, a sharp-eyed cop with a reputation for getting answers. She didn't look happy to see a reporter. "Jake, this isn't a press conference. Stay out of the way." But curiosity has always been my curse. I noticed a half-open backpack on the living room couch, books scattered around like someone left in a hurry. Mrs. Carter sat frozen on the armchair, clutching Emily's sweater like it was her last lifeline. Her husband paced in circles, running a hand through his thinning hair. She went to meet her friends after school, he told anyone who'd listen. She texted us at 6:30 saying she'd be home soon. She never showed. That detail chilled me. Kids go missing, sure, but in Springfield. And Emily wasn't the type to run away. She was an honor student, popular, no trouble with drugs or bad company. By midnight, the search began. Volunteers with flashlights combed the woods near the old train tracks. Police dogs barked into the night air. I tagged along, scribbling notes, trying to capture the fear that was spreading like wildfire. What struck me most was the silence. No one wanted to say the word that hung over everyone's head: murder. At 2 a.m., I was walking near Miller Creek when one of the officers shouted. They'd found Emily's phone, half buried in the mud. The screen was cracked, but still lit up with missed calls from Mom. Detective McKenna looked grim as she sealed it in an evidence bag. She caught my eye for a moment, and I swear I saw something more than worry. Something like recognition. Like she already knew what kind of story this would become. By dawn, the town was buzzing. Local news vans lined the streets, reporters shoving cameras in neighbors' faces. Everyone had a theory. Emily had a secret boyfriend. Emily was planning to leave town. Emily stumbled on something she shouldn't have. But when I looked at the Carters, I didn't see scandal. I saw a family on the edge of breaking. And deep down, I felt something I'd never admit out loud. I wasn't just covering this story. I was already inside it. By the next morning, Springfield felt like it had transformed into a different town. Posters with Emily's smiling face were taped to every storefront. The Carters had offered a $10,000 reward for information, and the police set up a hotline. I joined the press conference outside City Hall. Mayor Watkins promised every resource available. But Detective McKenna's tight jaw told me she wasn't optimistic. "Jake," she said afterward, pulling me aside, "don't interfere. This is delicate." Of course, that only made me hungrier. I retraced Emily's last known steps, starting with Lincoln High School. Her best friend, Sophie Ramirez, agreed to talk in hushed tones by the lockers. She was nervous that day, Sophie admitted. Kept checking her phone, said someone was watching her. That set my instincts buzzing. I asked who, but Sophie just shook her head. She wouldn't say, just that she felt unsafe. Later, at the diner where Emily often hung out, the waitress remembered seeing her the evening she vanished. She was sitting in the corner booth looking out the window, a black SUV parked across the street. She left in a hurry right after. That detail burned itself into my notes. A black SUV. That night, while reviewing my recordings, I noticed something odd. When Sophie mentioned Emily feeling unsafe, her voice cracked, like she was hiding something. Before I could chase the thought, my phone buzzed. A blocked number. I hesitated, then answered. "Stop digging," a man's voice whispered, "or you'll end up like her." The line went dead. For the first time, I realized this wasn't just a missing person story. Someone didn't want the truth coming out. 2 days later, the case exploded. A fisherman near the Chicago River reported a body tangled in the reeds. The Chicago PD quickly confirmed. It was Emily Carter. The news hit Springfield like a bomb. Candlelight vigils, crying classmates, a community shattered. But for me, it was the beginning of something darker. I drove up to Chicago to cover the discovery. The crime scene was chilling. Emily's body showed no signs of drowning. She'd been killed elsewhere and dumped. Detective McKenna was there, speaking with Chicago detectives. She spotted me and frowned. "You're out of your depth, Jake." But I noticed what she didn't say. "Don't publish this." Almost like she wanted me to keep pushing. Later that night, at my hotel, I received an email from an anonymous sender. No subject line, no message, just a photo attachment. It showed Emily, alive, sitting in the passenger seat of a black SUV. The timestamp was just hours before she vanished. Someone had been watching her, and now they were watching me. Back in Springfield, rumors spread like wildfire. Some said Emily was involved in drugs. Others whispered about a teacher having an affair. I went back to Sophie, pressing harder. Finally, she cracked. She told me about a guy, Sophie confessed. Older. She met him online. He wasn't from Springfield. He scared her. I asked for a name, but Sophie swore she didn't know, only that he drove a black SUV. Meanwhile, the Carters grew distant with the media. Mr. Carter refused interviews, looking more exhausted by the day. Mrs. Carter stopped leaving the house altogether. Then, late one night, I found an envelope slid under my office door. Inside, a USB drive. On it were chat logs between Emily and someone calling himself Hunter 47. The messages started flirty but grew darker. Demands for secret meetings, threats if she told anyone. The last message sent to Emily read, "Tonight, 7 p.m. If you don't come, I'll make you regret it." The night she disappeared. Police traced Hunter 47 to an IP address in Denver, Colorado. I booked a flight immediately, ignoring Detective McKenna's warnings. Denver felt colder, heavier, like the air itself was suspicious. I tracked down the address. A dingy apartment above a pawn shop. The man who answered the door wasn't what I expected. Thin, jittery, mid-30s. Name, Derek Hale. I posed as a reporter investigating online predators. Derek laughed nervously. "I never hurt anyone. I just talk. It's a game." But when I mentioned Emily's name, his smile faltered. That night, as I walked back to my motel, I felt the same SUV tailing me. My chest tightened. Springfield felt far away now. I was in someone else's territory. At 2 a.m., my phone buzzed again. Another blocked number. "You should have stayed home, Jake. Denver isn't safe." Just as Denver police began questioning Derek, another bombshell dropped. A 16-year-old girl in Dallas, Texas, had gone missing. Same pattern. Last seen leaving school, phone abandoned near a creek. It couldn't be coincidence. Emily wasn't the first, and she wouldn't be the last. We decided to set a trap. Using the chat logs, police created a fake profile, a decoy teenage girl. Within hours, Hunter 47 made contact. He wanted to meet outside Chicago. The sting operation was tense. FBI agents waited in unmarked cars. I watched from across the street, notebook trembling in my hands. At 8:07 p.m., the black SUV pulled up. A man got out, tall, wearing a baseball cap. He scanned the street, then signaled. Another SUV rolled in behind him. Before the FBI could move, the men bolted. At 8:07 p.m., the black SUV pulled up. A man got out, tall, wearing a baseball cap. He scanned the street, then signaled. Another SUV rolled in behind him. Before the FBI could move, the men bolted, vanishing into the night like ghosts. We'd seen their faces, but they'd slipped away. And worse, they knew we were onto them. Weeks passed. Kayla was found alive near Oklahoma City, shaken but breathing. Emily's murder, though, remained unsolved. The FBI announced arrests were pending, but no one in Springfield felt closure. The black SUVs stopped appearing, but every parent kept a closer eye on their daughters.